which can be accessed digitally, and DBMS is a software application which is used to manage database. So basically DBMS is an interface between user and database. And so there are two types of databases, relational databases and non-relational databases. Relational databases are those that are stored in the form of tables. For example, MySQL, Oracle, etc. And the other type is non-relational databases. They are stored in the form of key-value pairs or graphs, documents, etc. And example of non-relational database is MongoDB. Now, what is SQL? ओके एक्चुअली मैम बीच में हमको वो MongoDB में उसमें SQL में क्वेरी भी रन करके दिखाएंगे इसलिए ओके so now we'll see what is SQL. So SQL is a language that is used to interact with the database. We can apply CRUD operations such as create, read, update, delete, etc. SQL data types. Data types to define the type of values that can be stored in a column. So SQL databases are necessary for maintaining the data integrity. For example, if a column has a numeric data type, it can only store numeric values, not the character values. So it is necessary for maintaining data integrity. So there are many types of data types such as character, varchar, big, integer, float, double, etc.
So, when we want to communicate with the database, there are various commands, SQL commands that we have to learn. So, first one is DDL, that is Data Definition Language. It forms the basic structure of the tables and the schema. And the commands we generally use are create, alter, drop, truncate, etc. The second one is DML, that is Data Manipulation Language. It helps us to manipulate the data in the table. We can change the content and we can add the rows, columns to this. And the basic commands are insert, update, delete. The third one is DQL, that is Data Query Language. It is to fetch and retrieve the data from the table, and the command we use is select. The fourth one is DCL, that is Data Control Language. It is used to access the database, and the main commands are grant and revoke. The grant gives the permission what we can do to our database. It basically forms the security for the database, and revoke is to take back all the permission that we have given. The last one is TCL, Transaction Control Language. It controls the database transactions. The command commit saves all the transactions that we have done, and rollback undoes all the transactions we have done to the database. So when we create the table, while defining the columns, we have to keep in mind the constraints that we have to keep. And the major keys that are part of constraint are primary key and foreign key. So primary key is a column in a table that uniquely defines all the rows of that column, and the primary key is unique. It should not be null, and there is only one primary key in a table. The second one is foreign key. Foreign key is a column or a set of columns that refers to primary key of another table. The foreign key may not be unique, and they can have null values. Also, there are other constraints which have to be taken in mind, like not null. It ensures that none of the values in the column is null. Second one is unique. It ensures that all the values in that column are different. Third one is primary key and foreign key that we have discussed already. And fifth one is default. It sets the value of column priorly. Like if while inserting in the table, if we doesn't put values, it takes the default value beforehand. And the last one is check. It helps to limit the values that we have taken. Like for example, if we want a table where we have to keep age above 18, so we will write like age in check age above 18, so that if we enter age below 18, it will give error.
Now for creating tables in SQL, we have the syntax like create table, table name, and we can then write field name, data type, and constraint. This is the example of it. We will see that implementation later. And the table related queries are select command. Select command, it fetch the result and display the result. The syntax for this is select column name from table name. And to view all the columns, we can write select star from table name. Insert command, the insert command, it add the new rows into the table, and the syntax for it is insert into table name, and in bracket we can mention the column names, values, and then we can mention the values. So now we'll see the implementation of that in the SQL, MySQL. First of all, we have to create a database. So syntax for database is create database, database name, and to apply operations on it, we have to write use database. And for that, creating the table, the syntax is create table, and here the name of the table is student, and we have 4 columns here: ID, name, marks, and city. ID is int and its primary key, name varchar, marks int, and city character. And after creating the table, we have inserted the values. We have created 6 rows. So these are the practical implementation of that, creating a table and inserting the data. And now we will see more queries like update. So update command, it is used to update the existing rows, and the syntax for is that update table name set column equals to value, and we can apply the conditions on it. And delete command is used to delete the existing rows, and we can apply conditions in that. Here update student, we are updating the marks where ID is 2, and deleting the student whose ID is 6.
So now we'll learn more about queries, which change the schema, that is the structure of the table. Basically, when we want to change the column name, or the data types or the constraints related to that column. So the basic syntax is alter table and table name, and then we have different functions that we can include. Like if you want to add column, so it's alter table name, and then add column, which is the syntax, and then column name, data type, and the constraint of that column. Then second one is drop column. Similarly, we will write drop column and column name. Third one is rename table. If you want to give another name to the table, so we can write rename to and the new table name. Then we have change column, like if you want to rename the column name to something other, so we can write change column, the old name of a column, then the new name of a column, then the data type and new constraint. And if you want to modify the column and we want to change data type or constraint, we can write